So
I am privately very hard on myself.
good
Mm-hmm.
morning, good morning, good morning.
Yeah.
Welcome to another Brothers edition of Brothers of Legacy. I'm your host, AD Walker, the pusher, the grower, the motivator. We are in the midst of a very powerful conversation. Time has kind of set us off into this path this morning, so I appreciate you guys for being here. Thank you. Look, it's Mama Corey in the building. Look, it's Lisa in the building. Thank you guys for being here.
Mama Car.
Need you guys to share.
This
Sharing is caring. Sharing is caring. It is thankful Thursday. And happy Thursday to you guys. To my left, right, as always, Pastor Brian A. McCory, Sr. in the building. Right below me is none other than Kaneem Curve, aka Fife Dog. He's in the building.
whoop, 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 whoop.
And to the diagonal right there, boom, is Dr. Thomas Cotton in the building.
I'll take that.
In the building. Appreciate you guys for being here. Good morning, Sam. So, listen, you know what to do. Sharing is caring. We're going to drop this quick intro, then we'll be back. And to get into our topic, we're just going to skip everything else, just get right to the meat of it because I'm excited about this. All right, we'll be right back.
You're watching the Brothers of Legacy. We don't stand out. We stand up.
Side note, the old man in me hates changes in apps sometimes. That's all I'm saying. You get used to an app of working a certain way, and then they change it on you. They
The
change
young man in me says, "You're not old."
And that's the part of what Apple does to you. They make you complacent.
See,
You ain't gonna change because we're gonna make you feel old.
You know what?
Even though you know it's obsolete, we're just gonna keep you right here
you
because
know, see,
I don't like this.
I'm gonna just he's gonna put him on timeout. He running this topic this morning. I don't even care. He gonna be on timeout. What you ain't gonna do?
Yeah.
What you ain't?
I ain't no Apple. I ain't no Apple lover either.
Wait. Oh, well then I got something for you too. I got something for you too. This is what we're gonna do this morning. You want to start too? You want to start too?
I have a confession.
What's that?
I have to admit that I appreciate the fact that Apple, being a closed app,
Yes.
closed source, is more secure than Android.
Yes. Thank you. Appreciate
I
you.
hate saying that out loud,
Appreciate you.
but I have an appreciation for open source too.
All right, we're gonna end it. Look, he's a comment. He's a hater in the house. So he says
Yeah, he just throwing folks out. I mean,
that's what I'm doing. I'm like, Martin, get out, get out.
WWE in the cage match, you throwing folks out.
All right, let's go.
So that secure comment, we're not gonna even go there right now. Anyway,
Yeah, I know, right? I know, right?
because
Never had an
okay,
issue.
so me
Never
and
had an
Brian
issue.
had this conversation about Windows and securities and different other things that and it went pretty deep. And so
Yeah.
I'm not going to get into this deep security conversation about Apples and
You
Androids.
could
Let me
get
just
on.
say this. Your security is just as good as the user. Just put it that way. So if you have
Yeah.
facial recognition on your phones and different
Yeah.
things like that, come on, thumbprints, different
Yeah.
other things, it's only as
All
good as
that.
the user. So you can agree with that, I'm pretty sure.
All right, it says.
I got all
Yeah.
that on my phone.
You're right. He said, "Now y'all know y'all too grown to be in timeout." I know, Lisa, but they make me do it. They make me do it, Lisa. They make me do it.
But I
It's
did it
all
like a
good.
G. I did my timeout like a G.
Yeah, yeah. I came out through it. You know what I'm saying?
I'm trying to be nice, Sam. I'm trying to be nice, but they keep
I stood on
pulling
10
me back
toes
in.
in my time.
He said,
Mhm. Yep, that's what we do. You know.
That's another conversation. But welcome guys again to the Brothers of Legacy. Today we're talking about He said G time. We're talking about the power of our experiences. So I'm gonna have Thomas kind of kick us off, and we're gonna follow suit. We're gonna have a great conversation today. I feel like this is gonna be one of them good ones. So make sure you share, tag somebody. If you're part of our text community, text LW into 84576. And if you're already a part, make sure you share the link I sent you to other folks so they can join in and be a part of this conversation.
Call all your people, tell all your folks. It's gonna be a hot one.
It's gonna be a hot one. All right, so I'm gonna pass it off to you, Thomas, and kind of explain what we're discussing today.
Yeah, I appreciate it, AD. And so one of the things that we're talking about is the power of our experiences. Our experiences dictate a lot of how we are, what we do, and how we move in this world. I asked a question to the brothers before we got on, and I want everybody to put their first thought into the chat as soon as you can. Just the first thing that comes to your mind. Don't change it. The first thing that comes to your mind. If I say 50% of all marriages do what? I want you to put right in the chat. What is it that 50% of all marriages do? Yeah. And I want to hear from the people.
Indeed.
Don't be sitting there trying to figure it out. First thing
yeah.
comes to your mind.
Right. There you go, Sam. All right.
Thank you, Sam.
Who else?
I mean, I seen more people chatting this morning about androids than anything else, right?
There you go.
So,
all right.
There we go.
Says,
he says, Phil. And if we keep going down this line, I've asked thousands of people this question, literally thousands of people, and rarely does anyone ever say make it.
Right.
Everybody says fail, but it's 50% of all people. It's half, and it's half. But we choose the negative side of things off.
Right.
We're programmed to go negative on things. Look at Michael's like, I'm gonna think about this.
You cheated.
Look, there's a rare individual that often says makes it because they hear the question, they hear what's being said. They don't just go with what's being taught to them, what's been indoctrinated. And so what can happen with our experiences is if you take this mindset that 50% of all marriages fail, then you have a failure mindset when it comes to marriage.
Right.
And so that's your experience. Now you may never have been married before, but because you think of that statistic in half and the negative side of the half, you begin to approach marriage with a negative perspective. Our experiences kind of dictate how we move in life. And so that comes when it comes to promotions and jobs, whether you're going to take a risk and start your own company, or if you're going to anything that has a risk to it, your experiences will fight you to either go to the positive side or not. And don't add trauma to it. If we add trauma to the situation and we add, pain and suffering and hurt, your experiences now begin to, kind of hunker down. The reason why this came up to me is this week I was thinking about, like, I've done a lot of good things in the last, couple decades, and I still feel like I'm not where I want to be. And there's times where I will self-sabotage my momentum because of my experiences.
Right.
My experiences of it seems like I get to a certain place in life. And when I get there, I feel like I'm that teenage kid again, that if I make this decision, people can ridicule me or things can happen. And we often have to look at like those experiences from way back and really see how they're conditioning our minds, our hearts, and holding us back at times. When it comes to, making a big decision at one time, and that decision I thought was the right, it was right at the time, it was right, but it led to prison, right? I made the decision I thought was the best decision for my life. How many times have we made decisions that we thought were the best decisions for our life, and they turn out another way, and we just run away from that type of feeling again? So I just want to kind of get some feedback. I'll make some more comments about like how we engage our own experiences, but I want to hear from you all, and even in the chat, like what has your experience kept you from or driven you toward?
Right. I mean, for me, like, there have been experiences, that have happened that, you never want to engage in something in particular ever again. like either an investment or like a business, like I never want to get into that business ever again because it went bad. Never thinking about either the climate, the timing, other factors that went into it. And then sometimes the experiences of others sharing to me, just like we talked about when you just mentioned 50% of marriages, which way do they go? And first thought is divorce, because that's what you hear. That's what you hear constantly. Like you said, you never hear 50% of marriages succeed. No one ever starts from there. They tell you that they divorce. And I think that's the negative connotation is always the first phase. Did you say something? Because I didn't do it.
But what's interesting about what you said though, imagine what marriage would be like if we did look at it from that standpoint.
Right.
Go ahead, Brian.
I was going to say I beg to differ, because one thing that you did not say is, out of this quartet, somebody did say succeed.
Right. Indeed.
I did not call that one person out because I don't want to pump his ego up, but I did say that there are people that in circles that often say succeed. They see it and they do it. And so I don't want to call
clear. When you asked that question this morning, someone did say succeed.
I wonder who that person is.
Right.
I wonder who that person is.
But out of the thousands of people that I've asked this question,
I'll show you by process of elimination. I'll show you who that person was that said it.
Listen, we don't even need to do the process of elimination.
Podcast people, he's left the screen.
We're gonna allow Brian we're gonna give him his flowers right now. Yes, Pastor, you did say it.
You are the
Good
man.
job. And I did say this all about it. Here's the reason why a lot of times when a person's willing to go succeed versus fail, it's because they've had challenges in their life where they had to use critical thinking to overcome those. They had to be very critical about all the decisions they're making, their experience. How did my experiences lead me here? And so they begin to challenge themselves. And whenever they get information, they challenge the information critically before they respond. Right. And it's not something that you sit back and you just ponder, but sometimes the way you're wired allows you to see things in a different light. True. And so it's, that's part of the reason. But yes, you did say, I'll give it. You got that.
My experiences kept me from making friends and trusting people. Said it took a lot of me to get past it. And even sometimes I have to remind myself we are better now. Yes, indeed.
Yeah.
Yes, indeed.
Well, I know, since we're talking about marriages, I know my first marriage, that experience taught me a lot of what I was and was not going to accept in my next marriage. Because I knew I wanted to be married. I loved the idea of being married. I saw my grandparents married and how blissful they looked. You know what I'm saying? They never argued in front of the grandkids. I don't know if they are in front of their kids, but as far as the grandkids, they ain't never argue, and it just looked like they had so much love and fun together. Right. And my first wife gave me exactly the opposite of that chaos. Mm-hmm. So I kind of figured like, okay, I'm not finna spend 50 years of arguing with your ass. Mm-hmm. So it was just like I'm sitting on the porch, and all we doing is arguing. Right. Why you ain't picking up your shoes? Right. Why you ain't got the newspaper? Why you ain't open the blinds? Why you got your cup on the counter? Why your shoes ain't in the room? I'm like, God, you don't get out of my face with all that foolishness. I'm like, if it mean that much to you, you need to do it. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, because I'm like, it's so much other stuff we could be doing, but you trying to check me on everything that I ain't doing in your eyes. You know what I'm saying? If I'm sitting in the house with the blinds closed, it's because I like the dog and I want to watch some TV in the dog. I don't want to watch TV with the sun beating me in my eyes. If you would have asked me that, then you would have got the answer. But instead of you asking me, you coming down, what you doing with the blinds closed? I'm like, girl, you about to get cussed out.
Anyway, with that, did it make you kind of apprehensive about getting married again?
It did, because I went through so many women trying to go through what I was not going to accept and tolerate.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like I wanted a big family. I wanted a bunch of kids
Right.
and this, that, the third. But you know, I'm like, I'm 40 years old trying to start over, and I'm like, I'm gonna have all these kids. I'm gonna be this old AARP recipient trying to go to, you know what I'm saying, trying to make all these events and stuff like that.
Right.
And I'm like, man, but I was willing to go through it. But
Right.
I'm like, is that really what I want to do?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? If I start over, now I already got grandkids, and I'm talking about having kids. Now my kids gonna be my grandkids' uncle or something like that. I'm like, I ain't want to go through all that, but I knew from my first marriage
Right.
what standards I was gonna have for my next one. You know what I'm
Mhm.
saying? So
Right.
that was when we talk about experience, and Thomas was like, those experiences will make you walk a different path than what you are accustomed to. That was make those experiences with my first wife taught me a lot.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Jeff says, for me, fear of failure drove me to succeed, not the benefits of success. He said, I just ran scared. I get you. I get you on that. I think I'm kind of with Sam with making like friends and connecting. Because I don't know, I think it was the follow through, it was the work that it took, I think, just staying connected. And then I dealt with folks with unsaid sensitivities that we never had the conversation. We just kind of split. I was like, what I do? What happened? You know, what went wrong? Or I didn't come to enough basketball games or something. What happened? You know, and I lived that. So I was like, I ain't connecting with nobody. I'm done with that. But those experiences, like trying to get over and thinking the more positive, thinking the 50% that stay together, you know, thinking about what you can get out of it and taking those risks and moving away from those fears that you have and being complacent and stuck in the space. Definitely.
You know, experiences impact us all differently also. So you have a person, like the reason why, like how Kaneem described his previous relationship, his previous marriage, she had her experiences, he had his experiences. The way her experiences pushed her into certain things made her go, you know, a whole different type of way. Kaneem, what about your experiences make you want things to be calm instead of, you know, all dramatic and everything? What do you have experiences that you said at one time in your life, I don't want all this drama in my life?
Oh yeah, man. I mean, it was the marriage was so chaotic, man, that um one of the major issues was that she had endometriosis, right? So
Hmm.
she was having issues, you know, body wise, and it was affecting her mentally. And we was, you know what I'm saying? But my whole thing was, as far as having kids, I was all with it. You know, I'm like, well, if we can't have kids, then well, first we went through the IVF and all that. So let me start off there. Like we was on the path to having children, but the IVF didn't work, and then we was talking about adopting kids. And at that time, I was working for Children's Healthcare of Atlanta, and they had an adoption program. You know, you would it's like an enrollment. You enroll in it, and so I did all that, and but the mental state that she was in was just chaotic. I'm like literally, we was physically going at each other. One Thanksgiving, she shoved sweet potato pie in the face. You know what I'm saying? Because we had this argument. Not only did I get a face full of sweet potato pie, it's a whole pie. She didn't done this.
The whole pie.
The whole pie, not a slice of pie. The whole pie. She didn't put the whole pie. Not only did she do that, we outside in front of the neighbors when she do the whole pie thing. This Thanksgiving Day. So we didn't go through that. She didn't close doors. I didn't beat the door down because she didn't close the door. And I'm trying to get my clothes so I can go out, like step out with the fellas. And I'm like, oh, man, this is my house. I beat the door down. So it was just that type of chaos. You know what I'm saying? Like,
But
I'm
let me
not
ask you
used to
this
that
question.
at home.
What made you want things to be different? Like, because you have a
Good.
challenging upbringing also, but what made you want things to be different? Like, I don't need this type of drama.
Oh yeah, man. I mean, because I grew up with that type of drama.
I was about
Right.
to say, that's what I was thinking.
Environment that I wanted to be peaceful. You know what I'm saying? It's different. You grow up with chaos and sirens and gunshots and yelling and screaming, and you know what I'm saying. You grow up with all that. At some point in life, in my life, I
Right.
wanted just peace and calm. That's one reason why I moved to Douglasville, because I wanted peace and calm instead of staying on Memorial Drive and Columbia.
Right.
You know, and every day was uh, the same. You know what I'm saying? Siren, gun, all. But that's what I was accustomed to when I first
Right.
got to Georgia. That's what I looked for. I looked for. I
Right.
went straight to the. I went straight to the.
Oh,
As
it's
soon
nice
as
and
I got
loud
to
around
Georgia,
here. This is where I need to live.
yeah, I went straight. But I grew out of it once I got to a point where I wanted to be a civilized citizen. You know what I'm saying? Like I wanted to be a voter and go to different meetings with the kids and all that.
Right.
But it was just a challenge with her because her mind was just stuck on having these children and she couldn't have them. So I was the punching bag per se, emotions of what she couldn't do because she couldn't be a mother. And I was like, there's the final straw when I was out there cutting the grass and she came out there with this big old tirade
Mhm.
in front of the neighbors again.
Yeah.
I was like, hold on, man. So I just left the lawnmower in the middle of the front yard. You know, I ain't even finished cutting the grass. Just a lawnmower off. Went in there, put all my clothes in the trash bag. I threw them in the back of my truck, and I was out. You know what I'm
Wow.
saying? I was ghost, like gone. And then when I filed for divorce and went to, like, she had really just rubbed me the wrong way forever. Like, I knew, like, she ain't never got to ever be in my life. When the judge asked me, you want to give up everything? You want to give up the house, the furniture? And like, the judge is asking me this. I say, yeah, yes, Your Honor. I can get all that back. I just want my peace of mind.
Right.
And the judge like, man,
Right.
I
Most
can't
people
argue with
say
that.
peace. It said forever, not forever.
Yeah, and the judge was like, I can't argue with that.
Right.
And I got my petition. I got my divorce. I was on my way.
Wow.
Yeah. So what I hear from you is Decatur's only greater if you want drama. If you don't want, go to Douglasville.
Don't do Decatur like that. Decatur's changing. Don't do Decatur like that.
Hey, that's the first place I went to.
Oh, but you know, it's interesting, like how we start to form our mindset around experiences,
Right.
also. Because if you notice that, like, we'll pull out the negative experiences before we pull out the
Yes.
positive experiences
Positive.
again,
Yes.
even in our
100%.
conversation.
Yeah.
And so, in
So, bro,
conversation,
I had more bad days than good days.
right? But we do. But then your transformation is taking those experiences and using them for your growth and discovery. And so we don't never talk about the growth part of our transformation through our experiences, because definitely, Kaneem, you're a different person today than you were
Right.
5 years ago, even yesterday,
Right.
probably.
Right.
And
Yes, sir.
that's because of the experiences that we bring to life and the things that we've gone through. Those things help us to be better, but we still talk about the bad experiences more than we talk about the good. We're not
Yeah.
as confident as in the good experiences as we are the bad, because, like Kaneem said, we have more bad days than good days.
Right.
And we have to begin to learn to have that same confidence in the good days so we can begin to see light differently. We can see life differently. I said let's see light, and I meant to say that. See life differently so we can see light differently.
Right.
What I mean is there's a lot of things that are good in our life, but we miss them because we often look at the negative so long that we miss the opportunities and things in
Right.
front. There's this quote that says that, and I'm kind of quoting, I can't remember who it is, but it says, Opportunities often missed because we're so longing to look at the past thing that we missed. So we miss the door that's open for us now. And
Right.
so we have to begin to look at how do we engage this world in a different way where, yes, our experiences are the realest thing in the world. I can't
Right.
take anyone's experiences away from them. What you've been through is what you've been through. How it's
Right.
hurt you or how it's affected you or how it's molded and shaped you, it's the truth. So if you have a defense that says, I am the way I am, you're just going to have to accept me. I can't change the way I am. Then that's your defense. But then the reality is, are you willing to change yourself? Are you willing to
Right.
make the changes? Because I'm not trying to change anybody in this world. But what I found around our experiences is when you add perspective to those experiences, like you can look at your
Right.
whole experiences in a whole different way. So for me, I went through prison. Prison was the worst. It was the best thing that ever happened to me that I'll never do again.
Right.
It's
Right. That's
a
good.
multi-million dollar experiment that I won't pay a nickel for right now.
Right.
Experience. So the thing is, we have to begin to look at how can we put the perspective around those negative experiences that we have. Ryan, you look like you're ready to say something. Yeah.
No, I'm just listening to you, man.
Okay.
You're making me think about my own experiences, and I realize that in a lot of cases, moving forward is difficult because your challenging experiences create blinders for progression.
Mm.
Your experience will blind you to where you can't see your path forward. And that can be a problem for a lot of people. And I'm saying because you can have like the example that Samantha put out there, her saying, my past experiences have kept me from, or it took me a long time to learn how to engage and make new friends and trust people, right?
Right.
Well, what was the actual trigger? For some of us, the trigger is somebody cut me off in traffic.
Right.
It's totally unrelated and it bleeds over into other areas of your life and you don't know how to move forward. You can say, well, I had a bad relationship, so I'm not going to get in other relationships. I had a bad friendship, so I'm not going to trust people, right? Our negative experiences create blind spots. And what I mean by blind spots, if I'm afraid to move forward in this particular area because I can't figure out how to do it, there's a blind spot somewhere. The blind spot is caused by a previous experience, right? So I don't know how to progress forward. So what we have to do is expose those blind areas, get rid of those blind spots, examine ourselves. You said something earlier about when I was challenging myself and learning how to be self-critical, right? A lot of us are critical of self because of our experiences. A lot of us are critical of wanting to move forward because of our experiences. So my question really, you had me thinking about this. I'm going a long way around it. My question really is, when it comes to negative experiences and blind spots, talk about how you clear up that blind spot. Can you talk about how you clear up that blind spot?
Yeah. So the way I begin to clear blind spots is I listen to other people, whether it was positive or negative feedback. If it's something I agree with them or not on or not. One day when I was in jail, we were getting ready to be sentenced, and I was having a conversation with my cousin, and he said, "Man, if you weren't my cousin, I'd even hate you." and
Wow.
and when he said that to me, it made me start to recognize, like, what is it about me that makes people feel that way? And so a lot of times what we're willing to do is we're willing to challenge everybody else in our world before we challenge ourselves.
Right.
We're willing to make everybody else out to be our reason why we are the way we are before we look at ourselves and say, this is the reason why I am the way I am. And our experiences also feed into that because that's the way of the world. We learn a lot of times, fake it till you make it,
Right.
and I tell people, you fake it till you make it, you just fake, and the reality is, if we begin with that type of mindset, that's how we carry on. I got to be the best. I got to name it and claim it. I got to blab it and grab it. I have to be this. And, I have to look a certain way when I go to church, or people are going to judge me or stereotype me or whatever. And the reality is, it's not about other people. It's about how we think about other people. It's our responses to other people. It's us, our ability to challenge ourselves within the different situations that come in our life. We're not going to get it right, and I'm not saying like I blow it. I've blown it and keep blowing it at times. And the thing is, can we think about the moment that we blow it and recognize our wrong within it, and then begin to make that informed decision within our own mind to make the change, to really find the help, to get the feedback and accept the feedback and welcome it. Here's the one thing I learned a long time ago. I have nothing to lose when it comes to trying something new. When I was inside, I had a mentor, and it was a guy who was on staff at one of the prisons I was at, and he mentored me. He was a black successful man, and he took me under his wing. And every time he would call me into his office, he'd ask me, what's going on? And I'd tell him, man, and this is hard. People getting on my nerves here and there, here and that. And I would just go in, and he would say to me, he'll start to talk to me about different things that I can do. And I would tell him, man, you don't know where I'm from. You don't know what I've been through. You don't know,
Right.
and I would challenge him every single time that way.
Right.
And one day I go into his office, and, we start our same little thing over and over. And I get to the point where it's like, man, you just don't understand. You don't know where hold on a second. He's like, hold on.
Right.
He said, do you want to be successful? I said, yes. He said, do you want to stay out of prison and never come back? I said, yes. He says, do you want to have a house one day? Yes. Do you want to have a marriage one day? Yes. Do you want to have a nice bank account? Yes. Do you want to have a stable career? Yes. Do you want to be able to travel when you want to travel? I said, yes. And he just kept going down the line. And all my answers were yes. And he says, I have all those things. Why wouldn't you listen to me?
Right. That was good.
And I went back to my bunk that day, and I started challenging what I was doing to him. Like he was right. I couldn't deny that he was right. And I said to myself at that moment, I said, is what he's telling me, is it going to hurt me or is it going to help me? And if it's not going to hurt me and could possibly help me, why wouldn't I try it?
Right.
Like I already know where I'm at. I know my personal experiences. I need new experiences.
Yeah.
Why wouldn't I
what
try?
you were doing at that point was grabbing a hold of accountability.
Mm-hmm.
That's what you were doing. The difference is accountability. The difference is not making excuses, because you could have easily said, well, your experience wasn't mine. That's why you have all those things that I don't.
Right. That's
but
true.
You challenged yourself and you said, you know what, is this helping or hurting? It may hurt to hear it, but ultimately it's helping. And we have to understand the difference. Sometimes the pain of hearing truth gets applied as the pain of moving forward.
Right.
Or the resistance to moving forward. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Medicine is tough going down, but ultimately the outcome will be better.
Right.
But we don't want to endure the pain of processing or receiving the medication. And that's, you may as well say you're not sick. You're not accepting the fact that you have an issue.
Right.
And we have to own up to those things. That what you're talking about is what parents tell their children all the time. Well, you know what? You're going to be glad I told you.
Right.
Isn't that you're going to remember? Mark this day. You're going to remember that I told you this. We say this to young people, but the challenge is when you have to say it to grown folks. Right. Accountability is a major factor. Lack of accountability creates those blind spots. If I can't acknowledge that I messed up, how in the world am I going to see clearly to move forward? How am I ever going to learn how to forgive myself for messing up if I can't even accept accountability that I did? Because part of progression is forgiving yourself.
Part of that progression is forgiving others too, because people get hurt deeply. But we also have to remember that forgiveness is for yourself. It's not for others. It's not. It's for you to unanchor yourself from a moment in time so that you can move forward. A lot of times when we have unforgiveness in our life, we anchor ourselves to that moment and we hold on to that moment as our reason, as our why. And we never let it go. We never feel, like we have been empowered to move forward. We feel as if we have to hold on to this because it's a part of our identity. And so it's important to unanchor from there. And you know, one of the things we were talking about is for me to be able to hear uh, this person tell me that, I had to not have pride in the situation.
Right.
Not now, it's not that you don't have pride in yourself. There's a both end. I don't have to have pride in this situation, but can still have pride about how I'm going to go about my life. You know, a lot of times when we say no pride in this, we think that we get rid of all our pride in the work that we do. We
Right.
take pride in what we do, but we also have to have a humility in what we do. So no matter how good you are in something, you still have to be humble in those moments where someone who can help you elevate will take you to that level. The accountability that's going to be there, we have to be able to be open ears, open to hear. And so there's a quote that came pretty much right after that moment that I wrote down on a piece of paper. If I was at home, I'll pull it off my computer and show it to you. 1997, and I wrote this quote down on a piece of paper. It's sitting on my computer still at home. It's always in front of me. And the quote is, try to understand rather than be understood.
Right.
See, what we always try to do with our experiences, we want everybody just you don't understand, but we don't take time to calm ourselves down to understand what else is out there. What else? Because a lot of times we already know what we're going through. We know our pain. We know our experiences. No one knows your experience better than you. You know your experiences, but why are we always trying to justify our experiences instead of learn different ways to overcome those experiences?
Right.
You know, there is this point where people want to be heard so much because of they need validation. They need other things in their life. And those things are true. And I'm not knocking that. What I am saying is that's true. And there can be another point of learning that's true also,
Right.
that adds perspective to our lives so we can see our experiences in different ways. And instead of being a hindrance, they're a help. Instead of being a stumbling block, they're a stepping stone. And so we just have to be able to change that experience. This is, you know, a stumbling block and stepping stone is the same exact thing. It could, if you look at it one way, it could trip you. If you look at it another way, it can lift you up. And
Right.
so we have to begin to look at our experiences the same way, where our experiences can be a stumbling block in life, or they can be a stepping stone that allows us to see that I have this experience and this is what it is. I can't change it. A lot of things have happened to us in life where we had no ability to make any change in the situation. When you're a kid, things just happen to you. But there comes a point of an age of accountability. There
Right.
comes a point where you can no longer say, in my past, this happened and this is the reason. No,
Right.
you're an adult now. Why is this still the reason?
Right.
And if you cannot get past saying that, find someone who can help you. Find someone that you can trust. Find someone you can just dump on and listen to what they have to say. After you get everything off your chest, listen to what they have to say.
Right.
Because they may have some great things that can help you out. But if you already have this in place as your excuse, one thing I realize is when you make an excuse, you make a defense right behind it.
Right.
The moment you make an excuse in life, any kind of excuse, there's a defense that you've already formulated in your mind to defend what the excuse is, because you want to keep people off of you. But if you let your guard down and you just throw it out there, here's my reason, here's my whys, then you could begin to say, okay, this is my reason, this is my why. What can I do to be better? And just close your mouth. Because, you know, when I'm working with a lot of people, there's a lot of people who have a multitude of different issues. And I tell people this all the time. I'm not here to change you. I'm not even going to try to change you. That's your job.
Right.
But I'm going to present information to you that hopefully allows you to see things in a different way, and then we'll support you through the process of transformation. I said, you know, you don't even have to accept what I have to say. Just answer this one question. Is that working for you?
Right.
And, you know, and when you answer the question of how that's working for you, you'll have to look at your own personal experiences and challenge those experiences and say, it's not really working. At that point, now things can start to be added to your life because you realize what I've been doing isn't working.
Right.
Change is hard. When we have real experiences in our life, change is hard, but staying the same is hard also. Choose your hard,
Right.
you know?
True. True indeed. That's some good stuff. That's some good stuff.
It
Let me
is.
Real good stuff. Real good stuff.
put this out there. So make sure you stay connected with Thomas. I've just quick redeem-advance.org. He has a lot. He goes deep into these kind of shifts and changes and how to really make it happen, more of a step by step. And that we're talking about our experiences, how they shape our thought process, and how having new experiences help propel us into the future. And it's crazy how, at least for me and Kaneem, how we cling to the negative so quickly. He said,
Yeah.
it's a for real dropping knowledge.
It's a battle of the mind, though, bro.
It is 100%.
You can have, when you have a defeatist mindset.
Right.
This is something that I learned. Dr. Billy Alsbrooks, I just had a conversation with him this week, and he said, defeat must overrun your mind before it can get into your situation. See, it starts in the mind.
Right.
So if you can begin to reprogram your mind to have this that's why God is so critical, man. You have to have a relationship with the Lord, because one thing that I've learned is how you deal with problems shows the devil your rank in the godly realm. Right? How you address your issues lets the enemy know what your rank is in the heavenly realm.
Right.
That's powerful, man. So when you know who you are, that's why it's so important to have a relationship with God, because you are made over. You're no longer walking in that defeatist mindset. You're walking in a victorious mindset. And what happens is your mindset changes and your words begin to change.
Right.
Right. And so your words begin to shape your future. Words reveal to the enemy where you stand in the army of the Lord. That's how I look at it. So we have to learn to stop making all of these excuses about how we can't move forward, what reasons we have for not moving forward. Kind of like the question you had, 50% of marriages. Some of my actions are based on my thought. But what am I thinking? What produces the thought that causes me to go down this path?
Right.
What is that, man? I found out that the Bible talks about out of the mouth flow the issues of the heart. Your mouth mirrors the relationship, your inner relationship with God.
Right.
The words that come out of your mouth are the mirror of your relationship with God.
Right.
So man thinketh, so is he. So whatever's coming out of your mouth has to be what's in your heart. And if you don't have a relationship with God, you're going to have negativity coming out of your mouth. When you have a relationship with God, you're going to have positivity coming out of your mouth, because you're going to you're going to have a victorious mindset. So your words will be victorious and your path will be clearer, because you're not blinded by your mistakes. Peter talks about being being short-sighted because you've forgotten that you've been purged. Having a relationship with God means understanding what forgiveness is, the power of forgiveness, not in just being forgiven by God, but you forgiving yourself and you forgiving other people, and that clears the path for you. And if your mind is cloudy, if your path is cloudy, it's because you got too much junk in your head.
True indeed.
And you got to know how to clear that stuff up. And so the behavioral patterns have to change. How we think has to change. And so our actions will change behind our thought pattern changing. I found out that victory is not accidental. It's intentional. And that's what you're talking about, Thomas. You have to be intentionally minded to think differently about yourself and about your path, about your relationships, about your business, about everything, and rid yourself of those excuses. And so there's critical questions you have to ask yourself. What am I looking for my legacy to be?
Yeah. It's good that you talk about legacy, because it's important to realize that this is a part of legacy. The way we move forward in life is a part of legacy. But I will say this, everybody's heart is different. So everybody has to recognize this, no matter where you're at in life. You can't do this by yourself. Right. This is not something that we are meant to try to attack alone, because there are many people that allow us to learn and move forward. When we're on this show right here every week, I'm listening and I'm learning and I'm taking away. And just like everybody else, we get to spend life and do life with each other. Right. And we have to find people that can help us do life with one another, because that we feel like we could do life with one another because it helps us move forward. If we have nobody and we feel alone, we feel rejected, and we feel certain things, then we will personally add trauma on top of trauma.
Right.
We will create trauma within ourselves. We'll create drama, manufacture drama out of nowhere. We will do different things to make ourselves worse off, and we will accept it because that's where it feels normal. Because this is the way I've always been taught. But you got to get people around you who let you know, hey, you're beautiful. You're fearfully and wonderfully made. God had a plan and a purpose for you. That you have to understand, God has a plan and purpose for me. Yeah, let's walk through a process and let's figure out what God's plan and process is for you. And those are the things that we can eventually walk through in life. We're not meant to do this by ourselves.
Right. True indeed.
Oh,
True indeed.
Romans 12:2, be transformed by the renewing of your mind.
Yes.
That you may prove what is that good and perfect and acceptable will of God.
Right.
I didn't go through the first part, but the transformation by the renewing of our mind is what really helps us to overcome those experiences. The experiences are meant to be in our life, though. That's why we have testimony.
Yes.
Right.
Right.
And that's why we have these abilities to overcome different things. That's why we have resiliency that's just built into us. But when your resiliency level gets low, someone else has to pour into you to help you to fill that back up. And so our experiences could take us out, but they can also strengthen us and help us to excel in life.
True.
Man, I love that.
That's good.
It's good for a Thursday, man.
Sean says,
seriously.
God has taught me an extra 3 seconds of total thought silence changes the words that will come out of my mouth, which changes my circumstances. Rich says sometimes it's good, sometimes it's not as good. We all go through seasons of good, and sometimes it's hard. Jeff says, Pastor has amazing gift to unravel the package and lay it out so simply. Appreciate him. True, Thomas Kahn, but some people and connections, I can do some, most definitely not. And we are meant to be resilient and leverage our talents and abilities. Indeed.
Yeah.
Indeed. Good stuff, man. A lot to chew on.
Yeah. Well, I love what Rollins said,
a whole lot.
Changes how you speak about something.
Right.
The deciding factor in life is how you make your decisions. I found out that if you want to see an explosion in a positive direction, make good decisions.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Decisions ignite the explosion of change.
Mm. Wow.
Right? The right decisions, good decisions ignite the explosion of change in your life, man. And it's not, and I know it sounds easier than the application of it. That's why you have to handle. The Bible talks about it's the small foxes that spoil the vine. It's the little habits that you can create that will trigger massive change in your life.
Mm-hmm.
That's why people say one step at a time. Control what you can control. A little bit here, a little bit there. I've learned. I used to make the mistake of if you were working out, like exercising, just a recent experience for me. I miss a day working out.
Mm-hmm.
And so the next time I work out, I do twice as much.
Right.
You do twice as much, and then you hurt more, you burn out. Right? We spend far too much time trying to make up for lost time.
Right.
Instead of just creating a better habit.
Right.
Stop trying to make up for lost time and just do better moving forward.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You miss one doesn't mean I owe you two. It means I'll pick up from here and just progress and be more consistent.
Right.
Right. I found out that people used to say it takes 21 days to create a habit.
Right.
Right. You're right. It takes 21 days to create a habit, but it takes about 66 days for a higher percentage of maintaining it.
Yeah.
Most people get caught up thinking, they feel like a failure because they haven't mastered it after 21 days. It takes 21 days just to create it.
Right.
But you got to do it for 66 days before it becomes a part of you, or there's a lasting chance that it'll be a higher percentage that it'll become a part of your life.
Right.
So give yourself more time. Give yourself more time. Be more gentle on yourself when you mess up or you
True.
miss it. You know, I was on a diet and I didn't eat right today. So what, you gonna
Mm-hmm.
kill the diet because you didn't eat right today? No, just eat better tomorrow
Right.
Right.
True indeed.
and protect yourself and keep moving forward.
Forgive
That's how
yourself.
that's how you'll wake up one day in a better place and look back over you like, man, I can't believe I made it this far. Well, you made it that far by making one step at a time, one positive progression, one positive move at a time. That's what
Right.
you have to do.
Right.
You know,
Tell it, brother.
it's
Tell
kind
it.
of interesting what you were saying. I'll answer that question right here, but you're saying how the habits, you know, and if you mess up, go the next day. Everywhere else will have that mindset, like football, next play. You know, I messed up, next
Mhm.
play. We don't even worry, play's gone. We teach this everywhere else, but in life, somehow we feel like if I blow it once, that everything's blown.
Yeah.
Right.
You have, you know, we count our days as, you know, we do something within a day, we count it as our whole day instead of a moment.
Right.
You know, instead of I blew this moment, I still have a whole day to recover.
Right.
We forget that tomorrow is a brand new day. Yesterday's gone, can't do nothing about it. What's my future going to look like, right? And so we have to continue to move these things forward. Jeff asked, you know, do you think you could have been the man you are today, having bypassed going to jail? There are some experiences that you'll learn in prison on that you'll never learn anywhere else. There are some things about respect. There's things about cultures. There's things about the um, savageness of people. There's so many different things that you'll learn from a prison setting that you won't learn anywhere else. How to survive, how to navigate, how to mind your own business. Um, and
Yeah,
I don't
yeah.
think
That's for
anything.
real though. That's for real. One thing about I ain't been to prison, but I've been to the county jail for months. But one thing you learn in there is that you're gonna come out and make different choices to be a better individual, or you're
Yeah.
gonna come out and be a better criminal. It's
Right.
one of the two.
You can get involved with a lot of different things, but you know, experience tells you, it should tell you, if I get myself involved with this, the
Right.
outcome's not going to be that good. I just watched this person who's involved with this situation. Now he's dead.
Right.
I saw
Right.
this. Why would
Right.
I want to
Right.
involve myself with that situation? Right?
Right.
I can't go
Right.
nowhere. You know,
Right.
and there's just a lot of different things. But I will say that in life, wherever our experiences are, the level of that you're willing to challenge your own personal experiences will give you that critical thinking that could ultimately lead to a certain level of person that you want to be. So I do believe that if I had other experiences and I still had this ability to see things the way I see things now, it would help out.
Right.
It would
Right.
make me a similar type of man, just not with the depth of empathy that I have for people, other people now.
Right.
There's this level of empathy that I have for our communities that are flooded with different things. And now people have to try to figure out ways of overcoming all this trauma that's been flooded into these neighborhoods throughout the history of this country. And
Right.
they're overcoming these traumas, and you know, it's being passed down and passed down. And no matter how hard we try, our next generation is going to be uh, challenged by something else, whether it's the music, whether it's style, whether it's something. They're all going to be challenged because there's a community trauma that goes on, in my opinion. And a lot of times, you know, fighting against that is important. It's hard.
Man, that's
And
powerful.
yeah.
You,
And
I didn't mean.
so
I apologize.
go ahead. No, go ahead.
I was going to say that's, you know, your circle matters. You know, when it comes to healing and building and progressing forward, you know, it's one thing to have to overcome it in your own mind, but it's another thing to make sure that you have people around you that believe in you.
Mhm.
Sometimes we lose sight of that. You know, I this is what I've learned. You know, the critical the criticality of aspirations, of speaking affirmations in the life of a young person. What does that do? It builds up confidence. You said that earlier, Thomas, you know, about the more good, positive decisions you make, the more confidence you have in making decisions, right? And it also means the more good positive reinforcement you have around you instills more confidence in you as well. So it's important to have people around you that believe in your ability to overcome and get better. Some people, you said it earlier, some people will take a mistake that you make and make that your identity, as opposed to a mistake that you made.
Right.
You have now become that person as opposed to a person who made that mistake. And when you are around people who will keep you in that bubble, keep you in that box, you are around the wrong people. You have to have people around you that don't put you in a box of a specific type of behavior because you made that mistake. We do it to ourselves, but it's even stranger. It's even tougher when we have people around us that put us in those boxes. You know,
But that's just like at school. You got kids who
Hey,
put
good
other
morning, Philip.
kids down so they can feel comfortable about themselves.
Right.
right.
When you have people that are in that circle and they remember who you are, they want to keep you in that circle because it makes them feel better about themselves. Because
Right.
if you get out and you go different way and they're still stuck,
Yeah.
that begins to challenge them. Now it's like, why can't I do it? I was he was this type of person back in the days. Now look at him.
Right.
And a lot of times we allow those types of voices to dictate our actions also.
Yes.
Because that's a part of the people we grew up. Those are the last people we trusted. Those are the people that we gave our life for, or we hung around and we learned so much from. But
Right.
at the same time, there's a point of never saying I'm better than you. I'm just better than that.
Yeah.
Right.
Better than
Definitely.
that. I'm better than that last experience we've had, and let's keep it moving forward.
That's my
Definitely.
famous phrase for my own life, man. I'm not better than you. I'm just better than I was yesterday.
Right.
Mhm.
Right. I know Ryan has to go. We're gonna get ready to close out. Appreciate you being here.
Love y'all.
Yeah.
Let's see. I'm trying to get this one of the comments. Where is it? Oh, because Sean says in golf they say if you want to see a bad shot, look up. That means learn to focus on the strike of the club hitting the ball instead of the end result. The result will be the result. That's good.
Yeah.
That's a
I
good
love
perspective.
that. That was
Yeah.
good. And even back to the take 3 seconds, the 3
Right.
seconds of before I say anything. There's
Right.
a saying that I learned back in the days that really helps me out. It says, it's better to be thought of as a fool than open your mouth and remove all doubt.
Right.
So take a couple seconds to say, know what you're going to say before you open your mouth. So that's good.
I don't know what movie I was watching. Someone said that quote, and then the person's like, "What'd you say?" It's like, "Oh, too late."
Yeah.
Before we get out of here, I'm not sure. It's an open event. Let us know
Yep.
if you're in the Georgia area.
Mhm.
What's going on Saturday? What's going on Saturday?
Saturday from 10 to 2 at the Dunbar Center in Atlanta, there is a fatherhood event. It's the first annual Roosevelt Muhammad Community Action Day event, and it's to support our fathers who are single fathers or fathers who are learning to be in their children's lives or figuring out ways to be in their children's life, to overcome
Right.
the experiences and the trauma. That's what this group that we're a part of, what we do. We're trying to make the resources there for the fathers as they are there for the mothers.
Right.
And this event right here is just to bring some resources around fathers, to have community day where we can engage the community. There's going to be food, there's going to be workshops, and it's in the park. They're going to have a Daddy Olympics, which is going to be really cool.
Yeah.
And so if you're in the Atlanta area, you want to just come. It's at the Dunbar Center. It's in South Atlanta in Mechanicsville, by the old Turner Field. And if you want to even support, hit me up on my website. You can also, so the website's on there, but you can add tcotton@ in front of that, and you can email me. So tcotton@ redeem-advance.org. Take the www off. And so Samantha's coming for an autograph. Okay, I
right.
got you. I'm gonna have my Sharpie ready. And so yeah, but
Yeah,
it's gonna be an amazing event. Again, it's our
Yes.
first annual, and
Yes.
it's really good. We did a walkthrough and everything. The space is good. It's
Okay.
within a community that we want to support, and the amount of things that will be there's two different events that will it's not two different. We merged an event with another
Okay.
organization. So there's going to be a lot of other things, and also there'll be a computer giveaway. And so if you have any questions about the computer giveaway, I'm not sure if there's any computers left, but if you're interested,
Yeah.
reach out to me and I'll check and make sure to see if there's any computers left. So it's really going to be an awesome event.
Appreciate it,
And
Mama Cora.
again, tomorrow
Tomorrow.
I'm going to say it again. It's going to be, I'll tell you where it's at tomorrow. Anyway.
We're talking about it again tomorrow. We're going to talk about it again tomorrow.
No. All right, y'all.
I said, are you going to broadcast any event, Thomas?
Jabrowski.
Are we going to broadcast?
I might do a live. I might
Yeah.
do a little live there while I'm there and just talk about it.
We
I'm
might be
definitely
there. We
gonna
might be there.
shoot
'cause
some
the timing
videos,
works
get
out.
some testimonies and everything.
so.
But that'd be good. Yeah. So you'll see some stuff on social media.
Yeah, most
Yeah.
definitely. Listen, we appreciate you guys for being here. Any information we have about the event, I'm definitely gonna post on the website. Also, if you've had Facebook 2007 to now, just looked it up. You can actually file for the class action lawsuit and get your
Oh,
pennies.
wait. See, now you're bringing something up. You get your pennies. Thank you.
Get your pennies.
I don't know if you worked it out. I actually worked the
Did you
numbers
work it out?
because that was like, wait a minute. So you're saying 700 and something million. It ends up being 543 million after the fees and everything were taken out. And then you got 280 million people who are going to get this. You'll get roughly 1.9 cents. You don't even
Get
get
your
2.9
cents.
You don't even
let
get
the
a full
lawyers get the
second.
rest of it.
You don't even get the full second penny. You got to piece up with someone else. You know.
Get your 1.9. Get your 1.9 cents. Okay, right. Get your bubble. I don't even know if
That
that's
ain't even
bubble
bubble
money anymore.
money.
Not anymore, Jeff.
Not anymore.
We can't.
Look, those are pennies you throw on the ground so someone can pick them up and say, "Find a penny, pick it up," and all day long.
Right. Listen, what we do, we get all of us together. Group
Yeah, get
economics.
100, 250,000, 1 million people together.
We
You
get us together. We build our own stuff. I joined 2015. Not worth it. All right. So listen, we appreciate you guys for being here. Another edition of the Brothers of the Legacy. We look forward to seeing you guys tomorrow, Freestyle Friday. And if you're in the Georgia area, anywhere, Georgia, South Carolina, North Carolina, Mississippi, come, Florida, Florida, come hang out with us on Saturday. Because I'm saying us, because I think I'm actually gonna be able to make that.
Yes.
So it would be great to see Thomas in person. I think
In
we've
person.
been online forever.
Yeah.
So we look forward to seeing you guys tomorrow. Make sure you share. Join our text community. Text LW to 84576. And we look forward to seeing you guys. That's it. That's all. Be safe. Make good choices. Know that we love you. Jesus loves you better. If you or someone you love is having a mental health crisis, make sure you dial 988. Real 988. All right. So we'll see you tomorrow. Peace out. Later.